Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. In today's most important news, we will first talk about the growing threats to the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government and a new unconstitutional operation being planned by Field Marshal and his team. In our previous vlog, we discussed that threats were emerging against the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government and that perhaps an unconstitutional and illegal action would be taken against it. Just a few hours after delivering that vlog, the first political development occurred. This political development came when Hafiz Hamdullah, a senior leader of Jamiat Ulama-e-Islam, the group led by Maulana Fazlur Rahman, demanded the resignation of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's Chief Minister Ali Amin Gandapur following the tragic incident in Swat. He said that the government in the province is not a government, but rather a procession of dead political bodies, and that it is time to bury this government. Maulana Fazlur Rahman will read the political eulogy for it. Now you might think that this is just a political statement, and there is no urgency behind it. Some might say that politicians often make such statements, but that's not the case here. This is perhaps the first well-composed and directional statement from Fazlur Rahman's party, reflecting their political intentions for Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Fazlur Rahman feels that within the current system, the role he expects to play hasn't been fulfilled. As you know, he played a pivotal role in the creation of the Pakistan Democratic Movement, in the downfall of Imran Khan's government, and also in the 26th Amendment. This entire process, from April 2020 and even before, was designed with Fazlur Rahman's involvement, and Zardari and PMLN were by his side. Zardari got his share, and it is true that when the PDM formed the government in 2022, by overthrowing Imran Khan's government, Fazlur Rahman was given a significant role. His son received a lucrative ministry, and discussions about that ministry's dealings are still ongoing. However, the issue now is that Fazlur Rahman doesn't just want that single ministry. He also wants the presidency, which he managed to secure for Asif Ali Zardari, and the position of Prime Minister was handed to Shahbaz Sharif. Meanwhile, PTI gained an overwhelming majority, and Imran Khan's leverage over the government was solidified. Now Maulana Fazlur Rahman, who is frustrated and desperate, is searching for any deal that would allow his return to power. As I mentioned, it's not about political stature here. He's not seeking a bigger political role in terms of position, but rather wants a larger share in the power structure. This is a crucial moment for him, where he may be tasked with attempting to create a forward bloc, using people from the opposition or even from PTI to break their majority and topple the government. This would not only disrupt the entire regime, but also extend to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where it has already begun to unravel. This statement is a carefully planned political move. As I said, it's coming at a time when Fazlur Rahman is desperate for a solution, and meetings have been ongoing, but his position has remained uncertain. For example, the post of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's governor was one of the possibilities, but even there, he would demand more power. He could either be given the presidency or another high office, but it seems that his options have been limited, and this situation could create the ideal opportunity for him to play a larger role. The broader political landscape, including the 27th Amendment and the possibility of a field marshal at the helm, shows that Fazlur Rahman's leadership of a religious party may be leveraged by the establishment to mobilize support from madrasa students and other religious groups in the region. Next, let's move on to the incident in Swat. New footage and details are emerging about the incident, revealing that people entered the river to take selfies. Initially, they were enjoying the water, unaware that it would rise so quickly. Their family members who were sitting outside called to them, but instead of running for safety or taking a small risk to leave, they went to higher ground, assuming the water wouldn't reach them. The problem with flash floods is that the water level rises rapidly and unpredictably. Unfortunately, help could not reach them in time. The criticism is directed at the local administration, which had no helicopters or other resources to assist. The Deputy Commissioner of the area issued a statement, which I must say was disgraceful. He expressed regret about the violation of Section 144, but didn't take any responsibility for the incident. Section 144 had been imposed to warn people not to approach the water, but his statement seemed to shift the blame to the public. What the Deputy Commissioner should have done was take preventive measures, such as warning people at key locations and ensuring the safety of tourists. There are thousands of such spots in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa where large crowds gather. Local hotels and restaurants should have been required to take responsibility, and if an incident occurred and they didn't intervene, they should have been held accountable. Another important institution that has not been much discussed is the National Disaster Management Authority, which is responsible for handling natural disasters. Surprisingly, the heads of NDMA are military generals, and this is an area where we rarely see any criticism. Currently, General Inam Haider is the head of the NDMA, yet no one is holding them accountable. In fact, when natural disasters occur in the civilian sector, we often hear that the responsibility lies with the civilian government, and the military's role is limited. Yet when incidents like this occur, no one asks about the role of military officers in managing disaster responses. Now moving on to another news story from Lakimawat, where, well, another drone strike has occurred, injuring 16 people. Despite repeated calls by the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government for the drone strikes to stop, the attacks continue. Imran Khan has issued clear instructions that if a drone strike happens, an FIR, or First Information Report, should be filed. It will be interesting to see if an FIR is registered for the recent drone attack. Imran Khan has long been clear about his stance on drone attacks, stating that they are an unacceptable way to deal with terrorism because they kill innocent civilians along with the target. If a terrorist is involved, they should be arrested and tried in court. The Khyber Pakhtunkhwa government faces another test. Will they register an FIR for this latest drone attack? If innocent people have been killed or injured, they will be held accountable. The next issue is an analysis by Najam Sethi, and it is the same analysis we have been presenting to you repeatedly over the past month. We are presenting his analysis because the things we have been saying for the last month are now starting to emerge. He says that when General Sahib went, you might remember, the meeting with Trump was quite significant because he had to walk to the White House after parking his car far away. No photos of this meeting have been released, though there may have been pictures taken for personal use, but they were not shared. Trump did not highlight the meeting in the way it should have been done, and this was all due to the fact that he was not the head of state. Had he been the head of state, the meeting would have taken place in the Oval Office with media present, and as a head of state, he would have been driven inside the White House with a warm welcome. These difficulties were felt during that visit. Recall that when I went to Iran, I told you that the attendant was sitting in front with the Iranian president, while Asim Munir was sitting among the ministers. This kind of image is unacceptable to him. Now, in the current situation, Najam Sethi says that discussions are happening about amending the constitution to make the role of the establishment part of the constitution. This means that General or Field Marshal Sahib will officially become the head of state. And like an administrator, he could become the chief executive or something similar. This is necessary because when Asim Munir visited Washington, his meeting with President Trump was an extraordinary event. This was because, historically, military leaders who met with presidents were also heads of state. Sethi Sahib's comment about this situation reflects that even now, the situation is leaning toward the possibility of Field Marshal Sahib becoming the head of state. The next news is from Punjab, where Mariam Nawaz delivered a fiery speech. We had already informed you about that. Along with that, a significant development is that 26 members of the Punjab Assembly have been suspended for merely protesting. They have been fined over 2 million rupees, with each member fined about 200,000 rupees. Their membership has been suspended for 15 sessions. If they don't pay the fine within 7 days, further action will be taken, and the Speaker of the Punjab Assembly has stated that he will send references about them to the Election Commission of Pakistan. This is the first time such a thing has happened. Previously, a few members had their entry to the Assembly barred for some time, but now suspending 26 members and sending references against them is a major development. The Speaker of the Punjab Assembly, as usual, used his style, mixing English and Urdu in his press conference to show that he was angry. This is a tactic many politicians use to show their seriousness, though they may not be genuinely angry. The opposition, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, now faces a big challenge. How will they respond? The media is presenting the situation as a major event, but I don't think it's such a huge one for PTI. Whether their members are sitting in the Assembly or not, it won't matter much in the long run. If the opposition continues their protests, they could hold Assembly sessions outside, on the steps or roads, which would give them a chance to gather public attention. It's interesting to note that escalating tensions typically benefit the opposition, not the government. If the government is escalating the situation, it shows they are confident and don't fear a larger protest. If they were worried, they would try to negotiate. A senior member of the ruling party, the defense minister, openly mentioned that Pakistan is now under a hybrid model of governance. However, DG ISPR, the Director General of the Inter-Services Public Relations, recently stated in an interview that the military has nothing to do with politics, which is contradictory. Furthermore, DG ISPR, while criticizing India's actions, was reminded that similar things are happening within Pakistan, such as curbing social media freedom and political dissent. He had also made a comment about the situation in India, comparing it with Pakistan's media situation, but now people are pointing out the hypocrisy, as similar actions are happening in Pakistan. In an interesting update from London, Shaheen Sebai, a senior journalist, shared on social media that ex-army officer Adil Raja has filed a case against Brigadier Rashid Nasir, who was the sector commander in Lahore during the time the government was being toppled. The case involves a detailed Zoom meeting with lawyers in London, and it was revealed that Brigadier Rashid Nasir has decided to expose the truth. Sebai mentioned that this will be the first time in history that someone from the military will have to answer for their unconstitutional and shameful actions in an open court. This case is significant because for the first time, issues related to human rights violations and the role of intelligence agencies in political interference will be discussed in a free court in London, starting on July 21st. This will be a very interesting development as it will shed light on the actions of Pakistan's military and intelligence agencies. That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.